Hey 7th graders, today's assignment is the sunflower seed traits lab, and obviously you guys are working on this from home. So your learning targets for today: I can examine different variations of traits for organisms, and I can create and analyze a histogram showing variations of trait for sunflower seeds. So over the last couple of days we learned a little bit about what a histogram is and how it represents a population and all the numbers of species in that, or excuse me, organisms in that population that exhibit those traits. So one of the organisms we're going to be looking at today is sunflower seeds and some of the different traits they might have. Okay, so moving on, you guys have a bell ringer, so go ahead, take a second, complete these questions. What might a population with low variation for a trait look like? Again, this won't make any sense to you guys if you haven't done like 1.2 and 1.3, stuff like that. So make sure you guys kind of go back and have that done first, so this makes a little bit more sense to you. What might a population with high variation for a trait look like? And what might a population with no variation for a trait look like? You could also go into the sim for this, and you guys could mess with variation on maybe like the little australopes and see kind of, hey, this is a histogram for low, high, and no variation. That would help you out as well. Okay, once you guys are done with that, you guys can unpause this video and we'll go ahead and move on to part one. Okay, part one. You guys have sunflower seeds, and actually I need to add this link on there. So you guys have this link you guys can open up to look at the sunflower seeds we were looking at today. So if I open this link here, then I'm going to go ahead and see a picture. I know it's kind of hard for you guys to see, but you guys will go ahead and, to the best of your ability, look at some different traits from these sunflower seeds that you guys could use to kind of group them or count how many of each trait there would be, like if you were to have to develop a histogram. So go ahead, take a second, pause this video, take a look at that picture, and give me some observations that you guys notice of any different traits. You need to list at least 5. All right. Once you guys have part 1 done, we're going to go ahead and move on to part 2, so sorting seeds. From part 1, choose one feature where you identified some different traits. Sort your seeds by the different traits for this feature. After sorting, answer the following questions. What feature did you use to sort your seeds? What did you notice when you sorted? And was there anything that made your sorting difficult, other than obviously you guys are doing it off of a picture? And then explain. So if I look at this, what you guys can do is just get like a little piece of scratch paper. You can write your different traits that you observed down, and then as you guys look through each seed, you guys can tally where that trait would lie. So start with this seed, count that as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just go through on your little piece of scratch paper and make your tallies. Okay, you're going to do the exact same thing, except you're going to choose a different trait for this part here. So choose a second feature from part 1 where you and your partner identify different traits. Sort your seeds according to the traits for this feature. After sorting, answering the following questions. What feature did you use? Again, it should be from part 1, one of the 5 that you kind of picked out for traits. What did you notice when you sorted? And was there anything else that made your sorting difficult? Go ahead, take a second, pause this video, and complete part 2. Okay. Part 3, you guys are going to make a histogram. For this one, you guys are going to look specifically at the trait of number of stripes. Again, just do the best you guys can on this. What you guys can do is go ahead and look and say, all right, 0, we're going to count any seeds that are solid. So for instance, this one right here is solid, and this one right here doesn't really look like it has a stripe either, so I think that one might be solid black. So what you guys would do is you guys would count, all right, of these, I can kind of go ahead and say, all right, how many of these have 0 stripes? And then you guys are going to kind of graph your data there. So I'm going to go grab a highlighter. I'm going to make it a little thicker, and then remember, if you guys hold the shift key down, you guys can say, all right, there was 2 seeds here that had this number. So again, kind of do the tally thing between 0 and 12, how many stripes you guys count. You guys could even just like write a quick 2 here for now, and then come back and graph it later. So once you've kind of gone through and looked at all your data, what you're going to want to do is create a scale for your y-axis. So if your highest number, I mean, you're only looking at 30 seeds. So if your highest number was like 10, then maybe you go like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then you're going to go ahead and write what your little scale was. So make sure you include some sort of scale. There's 4, and then here would be 2. So then when you graph it, all you have to do is kind of put a bar here. That looks a little something like that. There's my 2. Okay, so obviously you guys can probably make it a little bit neater than I just did. So that's how you guys are going to do the histogram for part 3, and then you guys are going to answer these questions. Okay, what does your histogram show? Describe the overall shape, so kind of 2 questions to answer there. And then you guys will have to just kind of skip this part for now because you won't have another group to look at. So you guys won't be able to compare histograms, okay? And then moving on to part 4, you guys have class data. Again, you have another link here to open. It's going to give you guys the class data from 2nd period. Okay, down at the bottom, the totals are what you need. So if you guys have a hard time seeing them, this is 34, 51, 61, 60, 65, 29, 20, 9, 17, and 14. You guys can see that I kind of did less than 1 here. I did 10 plus here. So there was kind of more than that on your guys' graph. But you guys are just going to grab a piece of paper. If you have graph paper at home, great. Otherwise, just notebook paper will work. Maybe use something to straighten your lines out and make a neat graph, kind of representing that data. Again, it's going to look a little bit similar to this, but also different in that I don't have a 0 or an 11, 12. So we're just going to do less than 1 or less than 1, and then 10 or more than 10 for number of seeds. So you guys are going to graph that class data. Again, make sure you guys have these key components on your graph. If not, I will hand it back to you guys when you turn it in. So overall, you need a title for your graph. That should kind of describe what the whole graph is about. It should be a really good title. It doesn't have to be creative necessarily. It just kind of needs to tell me what this graph shows us. Okay, then you guys need labels for the X and Y axes. So underneath the X axis across the bottom, just like you guys see here, you guys would probably have this exact same title, number of stripes. Okay, your Y axis label, probably again going to be the same as on this graph here, number of seeds. Okay, and then an appropriate scale range for the y-axis, so, and the x-axis, really, you guys should have your, excuse me, let me pull this up. You guys should have your x-axis should look something like this top row here, where you have 1 or less than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 plus. Okay, and then your x-axis should kind of look at this. So if you take a look, what's your highest number here? Your graph on your y-axis should go maybe to like 70. Okay, so you guys can kind of figure out how you graph it from there, and then your lowest can go down to 0. Okay, so make sure you guys have that data in for your scale, for your y and x axis, and then finally you're going to actually draw your histogram using bars that show the range of traits along the x axis. Finally, once you're done with that, you'll answer these questions about your graph. What does the class histogram show? Describe the overall shape of your histogram. Does your class histogram show high variation, low variation, or no variation? So you're going to answer which one here and then explain why you chose high, low, or no. Okay, so that's going to be your guys' assignment today. You'll obviously turn in this PowerPoint, and then when you get back to school, you'll need to turn in your graph as well to have your assignment graded. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.